Most people don't realize this, but messing with a chosen one doesn't bring instant chaos. It brings consequences that unfold quietly. Things stop working, peace disappears, and life starts pushing back in subtle ways. A chosen one carries divine purpose, even when they don't fully see it yet. Their presence exposes truth, triggers insecurity, and activates God's plan without a single word being spoken. That's why attacks often come from the closest places. Here's the truth no one warns you about. The chosen one may struggle, but the consequences don't fall on them. They fall on those who interfere with divine timing, anointing, and divine protection. This message isn't random. If you felt misunderstood, protected, or separated lately, this is confirmation. Let's talk about the 9 things that happen when someone crosses a chosen one. You know, chosen one, there's a strange pattern I've noticed over the years. When someone decides to mess with a person walking in alignment with a divine purpose, life doesn't explode all at once. It starts quietly, almost politely. Missed calls, small arguments, things just not working out. At first, it looks random like bad luck. But deep down, there's a spiritual shift happening that can't be ignored. I've seen relationships fall apart for no clear reason, money slip through fingers, and health issues appear out of nowhere. It's not revenge, and it's not drama. It's divine timing restoring balance. When someone interferes with God's plan for a chosen one, they step into a current stronger than logic. Faith teaches us that every action carries weight, even the unseen ones. And suddenly, life starts pushing back. Think of it like touching a live wire while pretending electricity isn't real. You don't have to believe in it for it to work. The anointing on a chosen one carries divine protection, and disrupting that flow creates resistance. People often say, "Why is everything going wrong at once?" They don't realize they crossed a spiritual boundary. What's interesting is that these misfortunes aren't meant to destroy anyone. They're signals, like warning lights on a dashboard saying, "Something's off here." A breakthrough could have happened through honor, respect, or humility. Instead, life chooses correction over comfort. And that's when deeper truths, ones no one can hide from, start coming to the surface. Here's where things get really uncomfortable for people who thought they got away with it. When someone lies to, betrays, or manipulates a chosen one, truth doesn't rush, it waits. And then, almost casually, it reveals itself. Not through confrontation or chaos, but through timing so precise it feels surgical.
That is a spiritual authority at work.
I've learned that a chosen one doesn't need to chase the truth. Their spiritual awakening creates a frequency where deception can't stay hidden for long. People start exposing themselves, oversharing, contradicting their own stories, slipping up at the worst moments. It's like watching someone trip over lies they forgot they told. No effort required, no revenge needed. It reminds me of sunlight hitting dust in a quiet room. You didn't see the dust before, but once the light enters, everything becomes obvious. That light is alignment with destiny and God's plan. Truth responds naturally to that presence. And suddenly, masks fall without being touched. What's powerful here is that exposure isn't punishment, it's correction. Life is offering a chance for honesty, humility, and real transformation. Some accept it and grow. Others double down and drain themselves even more. And that energy shift leads to something most people never expect until it's too late. This is the part people rarely talk about, but you feel it when it happens. When someone tries to manipulate, control, or siphon from a chosen one, it never works the way they imagine. At first, they think they're gaining something: attention, validation, leverage. But slowly, their energy starts leaking. Motivation fades, clarity blurs, and emotional exhaustion sets in. I've seen this up close, and maybe you have too. The person who once felt confident suddenly feels restless and irritated for no clear reason. Sleep gets lighter, thoughts get heavier, and joy becomes harder to access. That's because divine protection doesn't just shield, it reflects. What's sent with bad intent doesn't disappear, it circles back. It's like trying to drink from a well while poisoning it at the same time. You think you're taking, but you're actually cutting off your own supply. A chosen one operates in overflow, not scarcity. And when someone reaches into that flow without honor or respect, their own reserves dry up. That's spiritual physics, not mysticism. What's fascinating is that the chosen one often doesn't even notice at first. They keep moving forward, aligned with their calling and faith. Meanwhile, the other person feels stuck, drained, and disconnected from themselves. That imbalance grows louder with time. And it quietly sets the stage for consequences that go far beyond tiredness or stress. This is where life stops whispering and starts speaking clearly. When someone repeatedly disrespects, harms, or undermines a chosen one, patterns begin to form, and not the good kind. Plans fall apart at the last minute, doors close without explanation, and progress feels harder than it should. It's not bad luck stacking up. It's alignment correcting itself. People often misunderstand karma, thinking it's instant punishment. But real karmic consequence is slower, deeper, and far more precise. It shows up as emotional instability, constant frustration, and a sense of nothing ever works for me anymore. That's because every action carries spiritual weight. And when you interfere with someone walking in God's plan, that weight eventually lands back on you. I've noticed that this kind of karma attacks momentum first. You try, you push, you hustle, but nothing sticks. Meanwhile, the chosen one keeps moving forward, sometimes without even trying harder. That contrast alone can be unsettling. It forces a question most people avoid: what did I do to get here? The uncomfortable truth is that karma isn't there to destroy, it's there to teach. It invites reflection, humility, and real transformation. Some people pause, reassess, and choose a better path. Others resist and sink deeper into frustration. And that inner conflict quietly opens the door to something even heavier, something you can't outrun by staying busy. Here's the part no one sees on the outside. Even when nothing seems to happen immediately, something shifts internally. Guilt doesn't knock loudly, it settles in, quietly rearranging the furniture of the soul. Moments that should feel joyful feel oddly empty. Laughter sounds forced, and peace becomes harder to reach. I've learned that when someone wrongs a chosen one, their conscience doesn't forget. Because deep down, they knew what they were doing. They felt the divine purpose on that person's life and ignored it anyway. That inner conflict creates spiritual unrest no distraction can fully silence. Not success, not relationships, not entertainment. It's like trying to sleep with a light left on behind your eyes. You're exhausted, but you can't fully rest. Regret surfaces in quiet moments, late at night, during stillness, or when life slows down. That's divine timing again, giving space for reflection. An invitation to acknowledge the truth instead of running from it. What's powerful here is that guilt can become a doorway. It can lead to accountability, forgiveness, and real alignment. Or it can harden into bitterness and self-sabotage. The difference is humility. And the choice someone makes here determines whether they remain stuck or move forward into the next phase of their life story. This is where hindsight starts to sting. At some point, it quietly clicks that the chosen one wasn't a problem. They were a gift. A door. A connection. A blessing disguised as familiarity. I've seen people realize this only after the chosen one is gone from their life. Suddenly, opportunities dry up, support disappears, and progress feels heavier than before. That's because some blessings don't come wrapped in comfort, they come wrapped in purpose. And when someone betrays or dishonors that presence, they unknowingly reject what God was trying to release through it. Not everything sent by God looks impressive at first glance. It's like throwing away a key because it didn't look like treasure. Later, you're standing in front of a locked door, wondering why nothing opens anymore. That's how divine timing works. It doesn't argue or explain itself. It simply moves on. And the blessing follows the alignment, not the regret. What makes this moment heavy is the realization that the loss wasn't external, it was internal. A missed chance to grow, to heal, to build something meaningful. Some people feel this as emptiness, others as stagnation. But deep down, there's a sense that something sacred passed through their hands untouched. And that awareness quietly sets the stage for a deeper kind of blockage that affects more than just opportunity.
This is when life starts feeling stuck.
Not dramatic, not chaotic, just heavy and unmoving. You try to pray, to focus, to feel motivated, but something feels off. There's effort, but no flow. Movement, but no real progress. I've seen people describe this as feeling spiritually disconnected, like the signal dropped. Not because God left, but because alignment was broken. When someone harms a chosen one and never makes peace with it, that fracture lingers internally. Faith becomes mechanical, intuition feels quiet, and clarity turns foggy. It's hard to hear direction when the heart is cluttered with unresolved weight. It's like driving with the parking brake on. The engine works, the wheels turn, but everything feels harder than it should. That's spiritual blockage, energy restricted by unresolved actions. Divine protection doesn't disappear, but access to overflow becomes limited. And life starts looping instead of expanding. What's interesting is that this blockage isn't permanent. It's an invitation, not a sentence. Forgiveness, accountability, or genuine remorse can restore movement. But ignoring it only deepens the stagnation. And sooner or later, life finds another way to teach what the soul avoided learning the easy way. This is where the shift becomes visible to everyone else. People who once felt powerful, persuasive, or respected start noticing something slipping away. Their words don't land the same. Their presence doesn't command attention like it used to. Influence fades quietly, without an announcement. I've watched this happen more times than I can count. Someone tries to silence, control, or diminish a chosen one, thinking authority comes from dominance. But real spiritual authority doesn't come from force, it comes from alignment with God's plan. So while they're busy trying to shrink someone else, their own credibility erodes. People stop trusting their intentions, even if they can't explain why. It's like speaking into a microphone that's no longer plugged in. You're still talking, still performing, still pushing, but nothing carries. That's what happens when influence is built on ego instead of calling. Meanwhile, the chosen one keeps growing, not louder, but clearer. And clarity always outlives control. What's fascinating is that this loss isn't about public humiliation. It's subtler than that. Doors stop opening.
Support dries up.
And that silent collapse sets the stage for the most intense lesson of all, the one life insists on teaching personally. This is the moment life stops negotiating. When every other signal was ignored, reality steps in as the teacher. Not gently, clearly. Losses pile up, cycles repeat, and situations feel oddly familiar, like déjà vu with consequences. That's when the lesson becomes unavoidable. I've noticed that these moments don't come to shame, they come to wake people up. Life places someone face to face with the impact of their choices. The pain isn't random, it's specific, targeted, almost intentional. And through that discomfort, awareness finally breaks through the noise. That's where real transformation begins, whether someone wants it or not. It's like touching the same hot stove over and over until the body finally learns.
No more excuses, no more blame, no more distractions.
The soul is forced to slow down and reflect. And in that stillness, guilt turns into understanding, and regret turns into humility. That's divine timing doing what words couldn't. What matters here is that this lesson still carries mercy. Even now, there's a chance to grow, to realign, to choose differently. Faith can still rebuild what ego destroyed. And while the chosen one continues walking forward into their destiny, the door to growth remains open for anyone willing to step through it honestly. Because every lesson, no matter how painful, carries the seed of a new beginning. If this message resonated with you, take it seriously, not emotionally, but spiritually. Something here connected with your calling for a reason.
So RS, question for you. Have you ever experienced consequences after standing in your truth or being misunderstood for who you are?
Share your experience or your perspective in the comments. Your story might unlock clarity for someone else. If this content helped you, support the channel. Subscribe now and activate notifications so you don't miss the next transformational message. Timing matters. And don't leave yet. The next video appearing on your screen right now goes even deeper into this journey, and I strongly recommend you watch it. Thanks for being here, for listening, and for walking this path with awareness. I'm Harold. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.